en route from Salt Lake City / Ogden, Utah to Boise, Idaho, where I'll be tonight, and then tomorrow heading back to Bakersfield, arriving in Bakersfield Sunday night. This is Friday. It's funny. I know over the last couple of weeks I've been doing more pictures than videos. And there's a certain amount of... when I was hanging out with Shannon, I called it vacation fatigue, and she said, yeah, that's a real thing. Because I've been on the road for 3 months since I lit out from Bakersfield, legit. And 5 months since I gave up my apartment. And I know when I'm back to Bakersfield, I'll be looking at where I'm going to stay in the short term, I guess, for the next, I don't know how many months. We'll be finding out some of that in the near future. Figuring out some of that in the near future. I'm doing this video now because I consider it the end of Chapter 9, beginning of Chapter 10. Chapter 9 was the Midwest, so it basically started when I crossed back into Buffalo from Canada and started west across Pennsylvania, then Ohio, Indiana, into Chicago. And wrapping up today now that I'm legit in the West and on the road back to Bakersfield. So I thought it was a good time to reflect on, the trip does not follow your standard story structure. Story structure, narrative structure is one of the focuses of the work that I do in improv. And so the basic story structure is the one you learn in English lit or in literature in general. You have an inciting incident and then rising tension or rising action, climax, denouement, resolution. And was the climax somewhere in Chapter 9 that I'm in the middle of the denouement now? Was the climax the bungee jump or the conversation with Dick or... but then there are other experiences I've had on the trip that fall into that category. Certainly Meow Wolf and the river rafting were both important. Bombing in Las Vegas was important. Stratosphere was important. Everything I've done in Boise was important. So then you look at the story circle that Dan Harmon uses, the 8-quadrant thing, where you're combining home and away versus naive and aware. And it's a Campbellian hero's journey from lighting out to returning home. Sadder but wiser man, as Coleridge would have put it. Maybe it's a little more of that, because I can say that along the trip, I've gotten what I set out for. And of course, it's to be expected that I would not get it in the manner I expected, because I didn't have an expectation. I was just like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to visit friends. There are some things that are surprising. Like, I had expected to do a lot more comedy, and I didn't. I didn't book gigs. I didn't stop at open mics. I didn't prioritize that. But that's not where the story went. And I followed where the story went, and the suggestions went, and the impulses went. I also thought I was going to do a lot more with the cryptid thing. And once I got ideas for the movie I want to write around that concept, it kind of fell off exploring the different ones. So that went somewhere unexpected and yet completely expected. But those things became less prioritized than the experiences I was having, the friends I was visiting with, the locales I was exploring, the cities I was familiarizing myself with. The story emerged in a different direction than I anticipated. That's a long-winded way of saying that. Yeah, there's still a lot to absorb, and I'm going to do that over the next couple of days and moving on. I need to revisit the video that I shot in Boston on a regular basis, because that's a habit I want to ingrain rather than an epiphany that I haven't let go of. Yeah, so I'm really happy with how everything has turned out. Even the behind the scenes stuff that I'm not talking about, I like my spot. I like where I am. Everything is going really, really well. And this trip was exactly what I was hoping for when I started on it. You see people's commentary throughout. There's some commentary, there's a lot of commentary you don't see. A lot of times when I cut videos with people, there's several hours of conversation before and or after. One of the books I was given has an inscription in it. It says, "I hope the rest of your trip is full of awe," AWE, and I can say that it is. When I reached the day that I spent Wounded Knee, Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, Devil's Tower, I'm pretty fatigued, and that probably shows up a little bit, but that doesn't mean there's any less awe in what I was seeing. There was just less emotional resource to manage the forced social interactions, because all of those places were reasonably crowded, with the exception of Wounded Knee, Mount Rushmore especially so. And there was awe visiting with Emily last night. There was awe visiting with Marcus this morning. And I would have liked to have taken videos and or pictures with both of them. Somehow those things fall off as you prioritize other things. And I'm hoping going forward from here, I'm better able to prioritize my relationships with people. 'Cause I'm not good at that. I mean, you may have heard Fania talk about how high-strung I was in college, and how when things didn't go the way I expected them to, I really stress out, and it comes out in unhealthy, negative ways. And that's been a hallmark of my career, something I've been working on for the last several years, trying to apply improv off stage, because I should be better at that. That's a word I know I don't care for. I'd like to be better at that. And so I intend on focusing on all that going forward. Somebody told me via text message a couple of years ago, and I think I mentioned this in another video, "You're done." And I thought it was funny then, and I think it's funny now. It's really, you look at the big picture, and I'm just getting started. One of the things I noticed, and I commented on when I was talking with Dick, was when he and I met in 1989, he was roughly the same age then that I am now. That was 30 years ago. And I still have tons of ideas, and I still have tons of theory and goals and objectives, and at least 3, 4, 5 different career paths to explore, and I may be doing all of them. And I'm just excited. I'll close this video with this. During the time that I was quote-unquote on set at Head of the Class in 86 through 91, they did an episode that revolved around Timbuk 3's song No, it didn't revolve around. This is what they did. They were doing like a video time capsule, and so they shot a music video to encapsulate who they were, the characters in the show, and they used Timbuk 3's "Future So Bright, I Gotta Wear Shades" as the tune that they were creating their video to. And I find it appropriate, and I think I should probably add it to the playlist now that I think about it, because it's funny. It isn't just me and my potential I'm excited about. I'm excited where my daughter is going. I'm excited about the things that my son is doing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how those things flower and blossom and grow. And I'm also interested in how what I do dovetails and supports what they do. And a lot of that is yet to be discovered. Because in the process of figuring out each day as it comes, a lot of my life has been transformed by that new habit. And I'm looking forward in the near future to exploring roadwork. That wasn't me. That's going to happen again in just a second. How those changes are implemented and affect my relationships moving forward. And I'm excited about this next phase, about the next step in the journey, about the next chapter. And I know these videos are for me. I've joked that the interviews and the conversations with my friends are so that my kids have something to show me, to jog my memory when I'm a little bit older and memory is becoming an issue. But I may just continue this, just for me, to keep documenting. I mean, I'm really glad I have that video in Boston to look back at. It's okay to make mistakes and to take my own advice. Yeah. Future So Bright, Gotta Wear Shades. Add it to playlist. Still got some other stuff to record. Alex and I had a conversation about role-playing games that he reminded me of some stuff I need to talk about. And I'll be cutting that next couple days, maybe beyond getting back in Bakersfield. We'll see. There's a lot to do. Peace.